And we're back for another episode. In this episode, we're going to be carrying on the Heavensward crafting series for levels 52 to 53. And as always, hello from Mithrie. So, we're pretty much going to be doing more of the same. Like every day, do your Grand Company turn-ins. So you can see I've already done all mine for crafting and gathering. If you want, do some more of the collectibles, which we've covered. But now we're going to actually start looking at the leave quests in order to get towards 53. So, because it can give us a little bit of an extra boost and a little bit of change to what we're doing. So, where we are is we're right here at the Temple Leaves, just north of the Ishgard Aetheryte Plaza in Foundation at X10, Y10. So let's look at the leaves he has available. So right now we are a armorer. So we have single versions of the leaves, and we also have 10 leave versions, like the sort of large scale versions. We're going to skip the large scale, and the reason why is because they use a lot of leaves and they don't give as much reward as if we just simply did 10 single leaves. And what this is effectively doing is that this is trading off having much less mats, say a third of the mats required, but using up all of our leaves, which is what we don't want. We don't mind using mats, but to a certain balance, which I'll talk about in a moment. So of course you'll look at the leaves that are available to you and you think, okay, obviously I take the one that has the highest experience, obviously, right Mithrie, right, and it's like, wrong, not anymore, you don't, because look at this is 122,000 and it requires a Mithrie Alembic. So let's look at the mats for a Mithrie Alembic. We need 3 nuggets and a rivet, which is effectively just 4 nuggets, because one of the nuggets turns into a rivet. So that's for the 122,000. For the one that's 140,000, we need to have a Mithrie bladed lantern shield. And let's look at the requirements for a Mithrie bladed lantern shield. So you can see we need 3 ingots, 2 rivets, and 2 dark steel nuggets. So let's look. So for 1 ingot, we need another nugget and 4 mithril ores. And so basically, for the sake of an extra 20 to 30,000 experience, we would have to spend significantly more in materials in order to get it, which is absolutely not worth it. So we're going to go for this one instead. We're going to go for this leave just for now. I mean, you select whichever leave that you know you can make. So let's accept. So let's now make our 4 rivets and then 4 nuggets, then 1 rivet, and just make the alembic. So we're gonna use our CP food, okay, and we're gonna make our 4 nuggets. So let's see. Cool. So let's now do this, and I have made a new macro for this level range as well. Of course, it does. You have to think about the fact that I've got incredible stats, so this might not necessarily work for you, but if you have equivalent stats to me, which right now is 462 craftsmanship, 417 control, I haven't got Lucis on armor, then think about this. And as well, you notice that I used a couple of the high quality materials in terms of the sands, but not all 5. So having a boost to above 700 quality at the beginning, 700 out of the max, is enough for this macro to get to 100% usually. So let's do this macro and I'll explain it. So this macro is an adaptation of the one that we previously had for 1-star NQ mats. It goes Comfort Zone in a Quiet, Steady Hand, 3 basic touches, Master's Mend, Basic Touch, Innovation, Ingenuity 2, Steady Hand, Basic Touch, Great Strides, Bygot's Blessing, Standard Synthesis. So the changes that have been made essentially is that we're using standard synthesis rather than careful synthesis to make sure that we get enough progress, because sometimes we actually have been falling short. And but because that costs a lot more CP, we've had to reduce the steady hand 2s to steady hands. So until I get 6 more CP for standard, then I have switched them to steady hand. But the reason I switched them to steady hand, I mean, obviously right now at 395 CP we have plenty to finish this, so you might be wondering why. But at 352 CP we would be 6 CP short if we use steady hand 2. So let's now do this again. It's exactly the same macro as before. And I will of course put this macro into the description of the video, but just take note of the CP requirement. Because what I'm trying to do is, I mean, you could use CP food, it's not a big deal. It's like you can just craft lots of it yourself. But if you want to just grind for hours and hours and hours and you don't have to use food every single time, then I'm trying to design macros that will work for you. Okay, so we go, great strides. Boom. So you see, I had 1 CP left. So literally, it used 351 CP, this macro. So that's the reason why I switched them down to steady hands. And when we upgrade our gear later on, probably, to be honest, I'm probably 53. In the next episode, we will be looking at upgrading our gear for the first set towards the Heavensward set, because the sad truth is that a lot of the gear that we are wearing right now, even at level 53, can be replaced, even though this is like max melded 4-star equivalent gear at level 50, where that's the past now. You know, we have to just learn to let it go. So I will see in the next episode about which pieces we can upgrade, and also go about upgrading it ourselves, you know. But we will of course see what rewards we get from the level 53 class quests as well. So far so good. So you see, we're not quite getting 100%, but at least we're getting like 80 plus, so that's no problem. So we'll do one more. And a lot of these macros will work even if only some of your materials are high quality. Like, we don't have to make them high quality, but the reason we are is because it gives us lots of experience anyway, so we might as well. Okay, it's almost done. Then I'll make 1 rivet, then I'll make the alembic, and then hopefully that will ding me to 53 as an armourer. Cool. So that was 100% because it just happened to be a good on the Bygots. Okay, so let's now make 1 rivet. We might actually have to change to blacksmith though to make the rivet, and this is part of the reason why I like leveling up everything at the same time, so that in these sort of different situations when I need other mats, I simply just change class and make it. I don't have to like go to the market board to find a Mithrie rivet or something. So actually I'm surprised it doesn't. Oh, it's because it's down the menu, that's why. Fair enough, fair enough. So let's switch back because there wasn't a second there. So Mithrie rivet 1. And because this is high quality, it will do it really, really easily. So basically it makes no difference whether I use food or not, because this macro won't go over it. And the reason that failed is because we're not using steady hand 2, so in theory the basic touches we're doing have a 90% chance to succeed rather than 100. Well, that's no problem because we're already nearly halfway to high quality anyway. So 91%. That'll do, that'll do. So let's now make the alembic that we need for the leave. So you see, it really didn't take long, but the good thing about this is that every single component we're making, whether it's the 4 nuggets or the rivet or whatever, they were giving us, like, you see, 13,000 experience each. So 13,000 times by the 5 crafts we did is 65. Well, let's just say about 60,000 experience just for making the mats. And then when we make the item as well. Okay, so let's now make the item. I'm going to use the... Ironically, it's the 2-star macro set that we used to use to make the items like spruce lumbers and stuff like that. Things that we sorry, the spruce plywoods, things that we needed for the Master D Materia and getting artisan weapons. That rotation, it still works even at this level. But of course, you know, when things become a bit more difficult at 54, 55 plus, then I will see if I need to make new macros. Okay, so we've already finished, so it's not a big deal. But actually, this one, ironically, does require CP food, but we've got away with it anyway. So let's do this. Ingenuity 2, 3 Careful Synthesis 2s should be enough to finish. Done. There you have a Mithrie Alembic. So let's turn it in. And thankfully, you usually turn in the leaves for trade crafts, usually to the one people standing right next to him. So let's hand over this Alembic. Hand over. Yes. Impressive, 100% because it's high quality. Boom, done. Level 53. So I'm going to be doing pretty much the same thing for all the classes, get them all to 53 before the next video, and then in the next video as well, like I said, we will explore whether we can upgrade our gear or not. So I've got 5 more classes left to get to 53, and as well, when it comes to items that we need, so for example, we needed Mithrite sand and so on, like new materials that we needed. Make sure that you just go and get them yourself, because you can easily mine them unlimited in Corf and Western Highlands. It's they're really easy to get. Don't burn all your money. I'm trying to make sure that I don't go below 2 million too often. If I can ideally make a profit, great, but I'm trying to just keep the money stable. I will not burn. So try and avoid burning your money when leveling up your crafts. And if you've been following my guides and been leveling, gathering along the way, you can see I'm already now ready to do the 54 to 55 video, because gathering in Heavensward seems to be incredibly easy and fast to level, especially with the collectible system. So anyway guys, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and as always, goodbye from me and goodbye from Mithrie.